Imagine a future where military confrontations no longer require massive explosions, sinking ships, or widespread destruction. Instead, imagine a battlefield where precision, stealth, and non-lethal weapons are the key to victory. This future is closer than we think, and it could be shaped by a revolutionary concept in naval warfare: Propulsion Disablers (PD). These devices, which can disable enemy vessels without sinking them, could transform the way naval warfare is waged, offering a strategic advantage that goes beyond the traditional idea of destruction. Let's explore this cutting-edge technology and how it could change the landscape of modern conflict. The Propulsion Disabler, a silent revolution. In traditional naval combat, the goal is often to incapacitate the enemy ship through massive force, usually by sinking it with missiles or torpedoes. However, what if you could neutralize the ship's ability to move, making it completely useless without causing any significant damage? That's where the concept of Propulsion Disablers (PD) comes into play. Rather than blowing up a ship, PDs focus on disabling its propulsion systems, rudders and propellers, leaving the vessel dead in the water. This concept was theorized by Captain Bradford Dismukes, who proposed that a small but effective device could disable the propulsion systems of a ship, rendering it immobile without causing it to sink. Think about it. A cargo ship unable to deliver goods, or a warship that loses its capability to strike targets or maneuver in battle becomes a sitting target. Such a tactic would not only paralyze the enemy, but also drastically reduce the effectiveness of their military forces. The concept may seem like something straight out of science fiction, but there's more to it than meets the eye. Undetectable and stealthy, the power of PDs. One of the most attractive aspects of Propulsion Disablers is their ability to remain almost undetectable. In warfare, stealth is often as important as strength, and PDs could be the perfect weapon for this purpose. The idea of an underwater mine or drone that could silently approach and disable a ship without being detected opens up new possibilities for naval operations. Drones, which were once restricted to flying above the battlefield, have already begun to play a role beneath the waves. Both the US and China are known to have developed underwater drone technology, some of which are capable of mimicking sea creatures like fish or sharks. This makes them extremely difficult to detect and counter, giving them a strategic edge over traditional weapon systems. These drones, capable of stealthily navigating through the depths of the ocean, could be equipped with propulsion disabling technology to target the critical propulsion systems of enemy vessels. This ability to remain undetected until it's too late would provide a huge advantage in naval combat, as adversaries would find it almost impossible to track and neutralize these silent assailants. In addition, PDs could be designed in various forms, such as mini torpedoes or smart underwater mines, allowing for deployment across different environments and strategic situations. The versatility and stealthiness of these devices make them highly effective in disrupting enemy fleets while avoiding the political and military fallout of sinking a ship. Miniaturization. Cost-effective and efficient. One of the most significant advantages of Propulsion Disablers lies in their size and cost. Traditional torpedoes and missiles, which require large amounts of explosives and are costly to produce, are difficult to deploy in large numbers. For example, a Mark 48 torpedo costs around $4.2 million, and a Harpoon missile comes in at about $1.4 million. In contrast, PDs, due to their smaller size and more focused purpose, would be far less expensive to produce. This would allow for them to be deployed in much larger quantities, making them a more accessible and affordable option for both military superpowers and smaller nations. Smaller devices also come with the advantage of being harder to detect. Full-size torpedoes are often up to 20 feet long and carry significant amounts of explosives, making them easier for enemy forces to detect and counter. Propulsion Disablers, on the other hand, would be much smaller, requiring fewer explosives, and could be produced in bulk. This lower cost and smaller size would not only make them harder to track, but also allow for them to be deployed from various platforms like submarines, surface ships, or even aircraft. Intelligent warfare. Autonomous decision-making. What sets PDs apart from traditional weaponry is their intelligence. These devices wouldn't just randomly attack ships. They would be smart enough to differentiate between different types of vessels and target only those that pose a threat. Using a sophisticated database of sonic signatures, PDs could identify both military and civilian ships, ensuring that they only disable the vessels that need to be targeted. This selective targeting ensures minimal collateral damage and allows the user to carry out a strategic operation without unnecessarily escalating the conflict. In addition, PDs could operate in swarms, overwhelming enemy countermeasures and creating a multi-layered attack on their targets. Even if one PD is neutralized, the sheer number of devices deployed would make it difficult for the enemy to defend against all of them. This swarm mentality would make PDs incredibly effective against multi-screw ships, which require a more complex defensive system. The more PDs there are, the harder it becomes for the enemy to fight back. Strategic deployment, flexibility, and range. The potential for propulsion disablers to be launched from a variety of platforms makes them even more valuable in a conflict. They could be deployed from submarines, surface ships, or even aircraft, depending on the situation. Submarines, known for their stealth capabilities, could deploy PDs quietly into enemy waters, while aircraft could scatter PDs over a large area, potentially catching enemy vessels off guard. Furthermore, underwater gliders, technology that both the US and China have developed, could extend the range of PDs significantly. These gliders use variable buoyancy for propulsion, allowing them to travel thousands of miles underwater without relying on traditional propulsion systems like propellers. They can dive to great depths, sometimes as far as 6.8 miles, and stay submerged for months at a time. The combination of PDs and underwater gliders could give military forces a strategic advantage, enabling them to strike distant targets without the need for constant resupply or detection. Political and military implications, a new approach to warfare. The non-lethal nature of PDs also carries significant political advantages. In warfare, sinking a ship often leads to rapid escalation, especially when it involves civilian vessels or neutral parties. The consequences of sinking a ship can be severe, triggering diplomatic backlash and potentially leading to full-scale conflict. However, by simply disabling a ship's propulsion system, the user achieves a similar strategic effect without causing the same level of political fallout. This approach allows for more nuanced and targeted operations, especially in regions with complex geopolitical dynamics. For instance, a propulsion disabler could be used to enforce a blockade without destroying vital civilian infrastructure or causing environmental damage, such as oil spills. This level of restraint could be crucial in international relations, where military action is often heavily scrutinized. Using PDs, a country could show its strength without resorting to the drastic measure of sinking ships and triggering an international crisis. Moreover, the deniability factor comes into play. In the event of a conflict, a nation could deploy PDs to disable enemy ships without officially claiming responsibility. This could be useful in a hybrid warfare situation, where nations engage in covert operations while maintaining plausible deniability. A disabled ship could force the enemy to respond, often leading to confusion and delays in their military operations. Potential challenges and risks. Of course, propulsion disablers are not without their challenges. As with any new technology, there are risks involved in its development and deployment. While PDs may be difficult to detect, they are not invincible. Similar to how drones and underwater drones are being developed to neutralize traditional mines, new technologies could eventually emerge to counteract or neutralize PDs. The battlefield of tomorrow will likely feature a cat-and-mouse game between those developing these new weapons and those working to counter them. Another challenge lies in the aftermath of using PDs. Disabling a ship is one thing, but what happens when it drifts into dangerous waters such as a storm, a reef, or even enemy territory? The attacker may find themselves in an unexpected position, forced to intervene to save the crew or retrieve the disabled ship for political or legal reasons. The consequences of disabling a vessel must be carefully considered, especially in regions where natural hazards or hostile forces could complicate recovery operations. The future of naval warfare propulsion disablers offer a vision of naval warfare where precision and strategy replace brute force. These devices provide military forces with the ability to incapacitate enemy ships without causing destruction, making them ideal tools for achieving strategic goals while minimizing the political and environmental fallout of traditional weapons. With their stealth, intelligence, and cost-effectiveness, PDs could be the next big evolution in modern warfare. Whether used by superpowers or smaller regional players, PDs are poised to change the dynamics of conflict at sea. As naval technology continues to evolve, weapons like PDs may prove to be the game changer we never saw coming. Instead of sinking ships and escalating conflicts, the future of warfare may be defined by making your enemy stop without a single shot fired. If you enjoyed this deep dive into propulsion disablers and their potential impact on modern warfare, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more in-depth explorations of cutting-edge military technologies.